pendulum exercises are a waste of time when it comes to fixing a rotator cuff tear. Let me tell you why. It all has to do with the tension that you're putting through your rotator cuff tendons. When there's a tear in your rotator cuff tendons, there's a sign of too much tension for too long going through that tendon, and so it begins to tear. Your rotator cuff tendon eventually reaches a threshold where it's been irritated for a while. Usually people have shoulder pain, maybe they have impingement syndrome or a strain in their shoulder, and if that tension does not improve, it eventually begins to tear the tendon. In order to heal the tendon naturally so that you don't have to have surgery, what needs to be done is we need to take that tension off, bring the edges of the tear together so that it can heal, it can scar down, and you can have that tendon act normally again. Doing pendulum swings does not take tension off the rotator cuff tendon. In fact, it adds tension because now you're using gravity to pull the weight of the arm down against the poor tendons up here, adding more tension, and then swinging them on top of that. It's very much like if you were to sit on a swing at a playground, and when you swing back and forth, if you've ever done this, you feel the centripetal force pushing you down into the swing, the seat of the swing as you go down, because there's a force that pushes you away from the axis of rotation or where that swing is attached. In this analogy, the chain or the rope that attaches the seat of the swing to the pole that it's on, that chain or rope is like your tendon. And when you're swinging harder and faster on that swing, then you're going to add more tension to it. And some people even do the pendulum swings with a weight in their hand. And that's like a heavier person sitting on the swing. You're just going to reach a certain threshold where it's too much weight over too much time and something's going to tear. So pendulum swings are not the smartest thing to be doing if you have a rotator cuff tear. Now, doing some light pendulum swinging is likely not going to tear your rotator cuff tendon a lot more, but it certainly isn't taking tension off. I don't want to make you feel bad if you've done pendulum swings, if you looked that up, or maybe even a healthcare professional told you to do pendulum swings and you've been following their instructions and doing it. I just want to enlighten you and make sure that you're aware that it's not taking tension off. It's actually putting some on. It just may not be that much more. Unless you're holding a very heavy weight in your hand while doing pendulum swings, I doubt that you're going to get an injury immediately. But I think that over time, if you're doing this on a repetitive basis, and especially if you're adding weight on top of that, then you potentially are harming your rotator cuff tendon more. Now, just about every healthcare professional that handles shoulder problems that I know of gives pendulum swings to their patients as an exercise. Even surgeons that are doing shoulder surgery on patients are giving their own patients that they just operated on pendulum swings. But before you get angry at your healthcare professional, I want you to realize something. They're truly doing the best they can with what they know. And the way that pendulum swings became a typical exercise is given to patients that have had a rotator cuff problem or any shoulder problem is it's been done reflexively and it's been inherited. The typical process for somebody going through any sort of healthcare medical program, schooling, is they get taught something in school and then eventually they do an internship or a clinical where they're at a medical facility with a licensed professional guiding them. And that licensed professional went through that same process years before. And for some reason, pendulum swings has gotten passed down from generation to generation to generation of medical providers without a ton of thought behind why this exercise is done and whether or not it's a good thing. It's largely a traditional exercise that's been passed on and is done reflexively for anybody coming in with an aggravated shoulder problem, but there hasn't been a whole lot of thought in its effectiveness in helping to speed up the healing process and doing productive things for an injured rotator cuff tendon. Please don't go talk to your healthcare provider negatively, or if you're a healthcare provider watching this, please consider my thoughts here and think about putting it into your practice. But what I want you instead to do is think about what you should be doing. Think about progressing your shoulder forward. I've got tons of videos here on this channel about what are good things to do for your rotator cuff tear, things that'll take pressure off, things that'll fix the root problem so that you don't have to have surgery. You can find out all about those tips, tricks, advice, exercises down in the description below in a playlist called the Rotator Cuff Tear Help Playlist. They've also got a comprehensive program that has our treatment approach that's focused on taking tension off the rotator cuff tendons to allow them to heal and then fixing the root muscle imbalance so that it's not coming back over and over again. That's called the Rotator Cuff Tear Recovery Program. I've got a link to that down in the description below as well. Hey, if this video was helpful for you, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel and turn on our notification bell so that you can be notified every time we release a brand new video. And don't forget to share this with somebody you think needs to hear this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.